Hello, welcome back to JJ's Baking House. I'm Ginny and today I'm going to be going through with you how to make black buttercream. So get a lot of people asking, how do you make black buttercream? So here we go, there it is, completely black. And we're going to go through the process of how we do this. So put that to one side. So we're just going to begin like we normally would do with buttercream for the measurements. So I have got here 1 block of my butter. And for this, this is about 230 grams. Then I've got a bag of icing sugar. This is my normal go-to. So a bag of icing sugar, which is 500, and a block, which is about 230. So that's what I normally do. So there we go. I've also got my vanilla that I'm going to need. And then really importantly, I haven't used any other food colouring other than this one for my black buttercream. So I can only recommend this one. So this is Sugarflair Black Extra, and this works really, really well. So what we're going to do to begin with is we're going to take our block of butter and pop it in to the bowl, and you can give it a bit of a cut up, so just so that it does a little bit easier. So we're going to melt this in the microwave. Right. Okay, there we go, all chopped up. And then we're going to add half a teaspoon of this black sugarflair. There we go. Oh, and we're trying to make sure that it goes in. Sorry, my dog's barking. Didn't quite get all of it out, so I'll just go in, and if you've got a spoon you'll be able to get all of it out. So that's a heaped half teaspoon of black Sugarflair. So as you can see, there we go, it's just drizzled throughout that. Right, now what I'm going to do, I'm holding on to this because I'm going to put it straight in the sink in a second because everything's going to get covered in black. So what I'm going to do is put this in the microwave until it is completely melted. So the heat is going to activate that black, and that is what you need to make it work, otherwise it's just going to go grey. So I'm going to put it into the microwave for around about a minute, and then I'll come back to you. Right then, so what we have here is black liquid, but it is completely black, and it's the heat that activates that. So it is important to do this, and I know you're probably wondering now, how can I use that? Well, at the moment you're not going to. What you're going to do is, I'm just going to take this out and put it on my cloth. I'm going to put the lid on, wait until it comes down to a decent temperature, and then pop it into the fridge. So it won't take too long to come back down to a temperature. You can always put it into an ice bath if you want to bring it down quite quickly, as I've done before. So just get a big bowl, put ice in it, fill it with water, and set this on the top, making sure that no water gets inside, and then it will crash it down to temperature safely without putting it into your fridge or your freezer when it's warm, because you can't do that because you're going to change the temperature in the fridge, and any food in there is going to spoil. So that's all we're going to do at the moment. When I put this into the microwave, it took around about 1:20 to bring it to this. Now the Sugarflair black, when it gets hot it does bubble. So what you need to do is do it in about 20 seconds and stir it up. You need to, as soon as some of that butter starts to melt, you need to stir this into it, and the minute it hits the liquid it doesn't make that bubble anymore, so don't worry if that happens, you just need to stir it in. So there we go. When that has come down to temperature and it's gone into the fridge, I'll show you the state you want it to be in, and I'll come back to you. It's probably going to take about an hour. This is the longest process of making black buttercream, so I'll be back to you in about an hour. Okay, so I have taken my buttercream out of I actually put mine in the freezer, and it got a skim. If you see around the side here, the yellow, it got a skim around it where it obviously it's separated, and then we just rub that back in together. So mine is extremely black, just the way we want it to be. All right, and we're going to now put this into the mixer. Now the heat made that black activate, so that's where you're getting that dark colour from. Now you're going to feel like it was all a bit pointless, but it wasn't. there are steps to this. This isn't just the end of it. What we're going to do now is we're going to whip up that butter. Now obviously that butter is going to become lighter as we whip it, because when you whip up your butter anyway, it does reduce in colour. So that is exactly what's going to happen here, so don't worry. So we're just going to treat this like regular buttercream. We're going to whip this until it's light and fluffy. So we're going to whip it on a medium to high speed for around about 5 minutes. Right, okay. Now, I've gone grey. So I know you're probably wondering, well, why whip it so much? We need that air to be able to dissolve this icing sugar properly and make a nice, silky, smooth buttercream. So we have to do this. So you can see the black is around the outside and I've gone completely grey in the middle there. So just scrape it all round. Now don't worry, we're going to get this back. The colour is still in there. Okay. So now we are going to add the icing sugar the same way as I normally do. So sieved icing sugar. And I add it in 3 sections. So there goes the first third into the machine. Put my tea towel over the top, which is slowly becoming black. On a low speed. Now everything now we want to do on a low speed, because we don't want to put any more air into it, because otherwise those air pockets are just a pain. Right, so one thing you will find with this is it's thicker. For some reason that colouring makes the buttercream that you're making a lot thicker. So, but we want that. This is actually really good. Right, so that's combined. Now I'm going to put my second third in. And then on the last lot, the machine is going to struggle a little. Right. Just because it really is so much thicker in there. It's almost, so you can see the machine is struggling slightly there. So what we're going to do is I'm going to add my vanilla now. So, and that'll give it a little bit of the moisture going through. So I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And this will give it some of the moisture that it needs just to get through the icing. There we go, that helped it. Okay, now I have some boiling water. Now, whenever I make buttercream, I know that you can use any fluid content that you would like. So you can use milk or cream or condensed milk or evaporated milk, but I always use previously boiled water that's been cooled. This is different. I'm going to be using boiled water that has boiled, that's why that's across the top, to keep the heat in. So now I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of boiling water. The minute that that water hits, you see the colour come back. Right. The black loves that heat, and that's the reason we're doing this. So that's gone in. I'm just going to scrape those sides down. This must be hot water. If you don't get that boiling water in there, you are not going to bring the black colour back. So let me just scrape everything down because it's really stuck. And already the colour has come back slightly there. I'm going to add the last bit of my icing sugar. There we go. And there we are. And let that go round again, really, really low speed. Now I am just going to get myself some more boiling water because this has had the top off of it there and it's really coming down in temperatures quite quickly and it's not going to work. So I'm going to leave this going on a low speed for the moment, just because I want it to incorporate as much as it possibly can before I add this last amount of boiling water. So I'll come back to you in a second when my kettle's boiled and I've got more water. Okay then, I've got more water. You can see the steam coming off of it now. It's exactly the way I want it to be. And I'm now going to add, just scrape those sides back down again. So it's coming there, but see how thick this is to the sides. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to add another tablespoon of the water. There we go. And pop that on. Now don't do all this at once deliberately. Because every time that you blend it, the colour reduces back down again. So we are going to add more. But we really just want to add that at a controlled time. Right, we're getting there. And scrape that down again. It's almost like a bluey colour now. Got a bluey black colour to it there. There we go. And another. It's really helpful that it's such a dry mix because it allows you to add this water. So I've got 3 tablespoons. Now normally I'd add 2 anyway. We've got the 3 in there. Lovely, that's really doing it now. Okay, so this is bringing it back up to a really good colour, but it still isn't as black as what I've got in my other bowl here. Now this happened over about 2 hours once I'd left it and put it into the fridge, or left it on the side. So you have got a bit of a grey colour in there now. But that is going to completely develop. Don't feel tempted to add more. I mean, you could add more black to it, but you're going to start tasting it. And then it's just too heavy and too much. So the buttercream now is coming to a nice consistency. Could almost have another half tablespoon I should say, of water in there. Whoops! Put another half in on that one. Let that go again. And it begins to have a funny look, like it's almost gone oily, and that's because it's an oil-based colouring, but it's completely normal, and once it's settled down, you mix it all up and you don't even notice it. So then we're just going to leave that on the side for about 2 hours, and the colour is just going to deepen right out, and it's done, and you've got your black buttercream. So I'm going to put this into a bowl now. And for only half a teaspoon, this is actually coming out so well. I know it's a lot of steps to it, but you could always make a batch of this up and then pop it into the freezer so that when you do need black buttercream, it's ready and it's done. And you haven't got to keep having the waiting processes of the butter melting, even though that doesn't take long if you pop it into the freezer. But this last developing bit here, you wouldn't have to wait those couple of hours just for that last little bit to come through. So there we are. And then I'm just going to cover that in cling film and leave it alone. Right then, so here is our buttercream. I have had this buttercream on the side there, I actually put it in the fridge, for 2 hours. And look how deep the colour's gone there. So we are black, okay? Now that, because it's been in the fridge, is too tough to be able to use. So what I'm going to do now is just pop this into the microwave for about 15 seconds, and that colour is going to deepen even more. So just give me 1 sec and we'll pop it into the microwave. Okay, that's been in the microwave and I've had it in there for around about 10 seconds and it has just loosened it. So there is our buttercream now, and as you can see, that is black. Now, that's only had 2 hours to sit, and if you leave it overnight, it's going to go jet black, which is what this one is, standing side by side. But considering this has only had the 2 hours, that's a really deep, acceptable colour. If you want this one, just leave it in the fridge overnight or leave it on the side overnight, and it's going to come out so, so deep. Heating up the colour at the start with that butter allowed it just to really come out of itself and become really black, and then again when we added the boiling water it released that black again. So each time we've heated it's released that black to get stronger. So we have got there, and I would, if you want to just decorate with this one and leave it for a few hours, it's going to develop even more on your cake or on your cupcakes. So this is how you make black buttercream. So now we're going to see how well it pipes. Even though it doesn't look like vanilla buttercream, it is. So it has the same taste as vanilla buttercream. It's extremely smooth, as you can see that coming out there. It's absolutely lovely. Right, so I've got piping nozzle in here. I've got the 2D. And we're going to pipe some of this now so you can see how it comes out. Oops. Brilliant. Right. And here we go. Look at that. That's really nice. Stunning. Really silky and smooth as well. There we go. Go all the way around, finish these few off here. Last one. There we are. And then I've got some of these white Oreo biscuits, so you can just pop one of those into the side if you want to. There we go. And then I've also just got some white chocolate chips, just because it pulls out, makes you see that colour more when you've got something white on the top of it. So there we go. That is our black buttercream. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you find it useful, and I hope we've speeded up that process a little bit for you, and you will get the successful black buttercream that you're looking for in the future. Take care. See you soon. Bye bye.